Okay, there it is. Out of the truck, sitting here on the bench. So what I'm going to do to it right now is I'm going to open up this piece on the column. That's basically all I'm going to do to it. I'm going to clean up the inside of the truck and put down a new piece of tape where this sets down. And I'm not going to mess with it. Let it set for about 24 hours and let this cure up all the way before I start messing with it too much. Because you might find a spot that's still not dry. So it's a good thing just to leave it alone. Let it cure up. Because I did do 4 layers on this. Because I got that base really good. So I went ahead and I finished it all the way out. So normally I'll do 2 layers and then come back and do 2 layers. But I went ahead and did all 4 layers on it. So it is strong, but it's going to take a little while to dry. So I'm going to clean that piece up and I'm going to go set it back in there and let it cure up. But I think it looks really cool. Okay, I done set the dashboard back in the truck, and well, it looks freaking cool. Check that out. Is that not cool or what? I got all the backing off except for over there. I've got to fix that piece still. Right. I just did all that on time lapse, got everything off the back. Now I can decide if I want to cut these off. This piece of wood stays on here on these sides. So any repairs I got to do now, like this thing, I'll do it from the inside. I'll repair that and then I can round that off. I just use a fiberglass filler on the outside. I don't know. Sometimes you lose track of what you're doing. That could be what I was thinking. But everything else fits nice. I still got to do 2 more layers on this one. This has only got 2 layers, so it's a little flimsy. And so is this one. Usually about 4 layers is really when you get to that point where it's really hard. So I'll probably put 5 in this corner just to give it more strength because of where it's at. Just get that little spot there. But yeah, any repairs I'll do will be from the inside. And that piece here with this piece of wood on this one this will already have a backer, so if I make this, because I'm most likely going to make this to where it bolts in. It's the more I look at it, because you have to wrap and then go across, wrap out. It's really going to be tough pushing into these corners and then getting all this. I don't quite think it'll do it. So if I make this come out, it's boom, flat. That's round, easy to cover. So 99% chance I'll make this removable. So the only thing I'll have to do is I'll have to make a little plate on the inside of this one right here for the bolt. And this one I already have it because of the wood. This piece is removable, so should all be good. All right, I've got everything done here on the dash. I got everything marked out that I got to fix, and then I still got to cut. I am going to cut these off and make them removable. So I'm going to do that. I've got my holes drilled in the top, and I've got 1/4-inch bolts. Stick through the hole down into the metal part. The last thing I got to check here is that you can lift it off, which comes out perfect. So I'm staying way below my channel, so I know I can lift this dash off with the windshield in. So that is all done. Now we can get it out of here and go cut it up and fix what I got to fix, finish cutting what I got to cut, and get this ready to be finished out the rest of the way. I made the door panels. I started to record them, and I kind of had a catastrophe happen, and I forgot to turn the camera back on when I got everything resituated. But I tried to use a piece of plastic over the top of this, because these doors have a curve in them, and it's flat to about here, and then they start turning in. So the piece of wood or whatever you're going to use is not going to stay on there if you don't want to have screws in it. And I'm trying not to have screws in this one. I want to have it nice and clean. So I'm probably going to end up having to put one screw right here just to hold that spot. But it ended up working good. I put a piece of plywood on there, piece of 1/8 inch. I put a couple of screws in it, and I buried them down into the wood. And then I put my clips, and the clips are buried in the fiberglass, so they'll be in there permanently. And then I fiberglassed over the top of that plywood so I could keep that curve in it, and it ended up working perfect. So next thing I'll do is I'll take this off, and I'll put some resin on the back just to lock that plywood, or I'll use primer on it or something to make it so it's waterproof. And then I took and I wrapped over the top. This didn't come out perfect. It's got a couple of bumps in it because it kept sticking to my plastic. I had everything wrapped in plastic. So, but that's easy to clean up, because now it's when I take this, close the door here, this will go on there just like that. And I also got my door panel marked on where this covers the dash up, because this will be a while before any of this stuff gets finished. Gotta go and finish out everything else. So I got everything marked. So get it out of here, and we can finish this part up as far as I can take it. And we'll see where the door panels end up. So I got to figure out where I want the handle. I had the armrest marked, and you know what? I didn't measure it. So I got to put the seats back in and measure where I want the armrest. Got to figure out where the handle is going to go. It'll have power windows, so they'll be in the console. stick the wing window back in real quick, make sure all this works, because what I'll do is this will probably, depending on how, because the gaskets were completely rotten in the doors, so I don't have the window wipes, window rattles, whatever you call them. So I'll have to get a set of those so I can kind of eyeball all this stuff together to see how this is going to go. It should be able to just bump up against that and seal. If not, I'll have to wrap a piece of leather down onto it underneath that piece of weather stripping. But we'll see. Those are challenges for later. Main part is we got to get this part done to where it's a finished piece, so it'll be ready for doing the upholstery on it. So that's it. Let's get her out. I've got all my pieces cut out of the dash. I'm not doing anything with this one yet. I need to go a couple more layers thick since it's going to have the radio in it. Let that one a little stronger. But I need to layer up this one a couple more. I need to put ends on it. And since these will now bolt in, this one's got to be fixed. So I got to do that piece first. Got my little piece back in there. It's going to come, this will get cut out to the bottom so it slips up. So I got the other end here. This end's ready. So those are ready to be made. So they're able to be taken out. And then on the dash, I've got the little block off plate here. So we can put a hole for a bolt. One here too. It's got plywood behind it, but I want to bring this out flat. I got this little filler in here because this stops right at the door jamb right here. So I want to be able to bring it in a little further, plus the bolt holes that are here. So you can put a bolt or two in that. And other than that, it is all ready to be finished up. And let's see what else. And a couple of spots I gotta fix. I'm gonna put a little bit of stuff in here, thicken that up, and then I'll fix this out later. Let's see what else. And then the bolts to bolt it in, and I don't want any fasteners exposed. And I got the 2 bolt holes to mount it to the dash. And you're like, hey Rich, I thought you didn't want any exposed fasteners. I'm like, good question. How am I going to do that? Well, you take a piece of flat steel. It's thin. It's about 1/8 of an inch. It's only holding the dash. It's not doing any heavy work. You take that, stick it in that hole, just like that. Hot glue. Get that sucker up there, hot glue it in place, put a piece of tape over the top of the hole, and then fiberglass over the top of that. And there is your bolt on method. Then you put a little drill hole through the fiberglass to get into that bolt hole, and voila! You've got a bolting method with no exposed fastener. So, So now I gotta just hot glue these in there, and that is ready to go. I can start throwing some fiberglass around again and see what the dash looks like when it's all finished up. Put a little dab of hot glue on there. Quick. Oh. In there, just like so. Alright, now take the studs out. And there is my bolt-on method. A little extra hot glue so it doesn't come off. All right, all ready to go. Just fiberglass up these pieces. That's it. So now we go and put these pieces of fiberglass in and get this part finished up. All right, I've got my dash back in here now. I've gone ahead and made a few improvements to it while I had it out. So I went ahead and I cut these things so they're removable. This one's just sitting in here right now. See, it comes out from the bottom. A couple bolts, sticks it right back in. Do it one-handed here. Come on. Sticks right back up there like that. And then I got this little piece right here. This will go back in here. Like that when it's all ready to go. So that'll fill that back in. And I've got it mounted. Bolts from the original dash right there. Some sheet metal screws through it. That holds it. I'll cut these off so they're flat. But I just went and ran a quick coat of fiber fill on here so I'm not getting my fingers poked all the time, and just gave it a quick sand. Fiberglass likes to poke you while you're working on it, so that gets rid of it. So all I gotta do is clean that up a little bit, and that part is done. See, this is bolted in there. So next thing I gotta do is I gotta make my little pods here. Got this piece all cut out. This one right here will stay, and from here down will be cut off to get into the shifter. And then I have that piece right there that's holding the bottom together. And I can put a screw there if I want, bolt or something, bolt it to the floor. But it's bolted up here on the dash top. See, there's a couple studs right there. So, sucker's in there. It's great. So now, just do a little bit more finishing, and the dash part is done for the rough end on it. And then the next thing, see, here's the front. Do just a little bit of cleaning up on the leading edge here. Not too much. But get this all sanded, and that will be done. Look at that. How freaking cool. Love it. Got this dashboard about knocked out, and it looks killer. Basically got it all sanded smooth. Just about finished up with it. I had made these removable. So now they're back in there bolted, both of these. But I think that came out looking awesome. Very, very cool looking. So the last thing I've got to do here, I should have shut that door. Last thing I've got to do here is I'm going to make an A-pillar cover right here. I've got this one all taped up and basically ready to go. Got the blue tape, and then it's got packing tape over the top of that. Now fiberglass over the top of that. I have little A-pillar covers. But everything looks pretty good. I love it. I love the way it turned out. Now I just got to find a set of gauges before I make any final decisions on how I'm going to do my pods. Let me go close that door. We'll walk over here. And that's what it looks like from the front. That is just super sweet. I love it. I'm glad I did it. It was a very, very cool idea. Close this door here. But yeah, definitely different. Gonna stand out. But you see that door panel, I kind of got it remarked on everything. Armrests, approximately where the door handle might go. I'll have to move the bump up to about where that line is. That's what's in my head right now. So I kind of got to look at it, figure it out a little bit. So if I come all the way down there, I think it's going to be too big. That's where I originally was going to do it. And you can kind of see that little mark right there by that handle. I just think that's going to be overpowering if I do it that big. So if I go a third of that, not in there, I think that'll look good. And kind of fade it off down onto the handle area. It kind of changes my plan I had for the door handle or the door panel itself. That's why I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself on go ahead and designing the door panel and then doing the dash, because I couldn't, the way I had it was there was a panel up here, but that panel now would be crashing in to that line. So it wouldn't have worked because the armrest would be lower on it, and it would all just be a mess. It wouldn't work. So now I got to kind of rethink of what I'm going to do on that door panel. Get that figured out. Look over it, look at it for a few days, kind of figure it out. I'm going to cut my pieces of plywood again here for these. Set those in there. And then kind of get a feel of what I want to do for the gauges. I was going to go with separates, but I've kind of been thinking about maybe going with the two with everything in it. So we'll see. I have to go looking around, see which ones I can find that might work. But this piece is all done. See, this piece right here comes out. If I can get my fingers in there. So just pop out of there. So it'll be held in there when it's all done. Right now there's nothing to hold it, but it'll have something to hold it there. It doesn't fall, but it stays just like that for right now, which is perfect. But radio, AC controls right there. I could put the power windows in that too, right here. Got the vents to put in the dash. I haven't put the vents up there yet. That's not a big deal. Stuff like this, I like to let it sit. So when you make the fiberglass pieces, let it sit about a month before you go and finish them out. That way they've got time to cure and you don't have any issues with the fiberglass itself warping or something, because if it settles out, it might bow a little bit. So I've had it a few times because I've made trunk lids before, and sometimes they'll settle out. They'll get a little bow in them or something. So I just let it sit and rest, dry up all the way. But the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get on making the other A-pillar so I can get these fiberglassed up. And that, I think, will be the last. And I got to do my kicks. But they don't really have to be made out of fiberglass. If I do, I'll just put a layer on there just to protect them. Since it's going to be a driver, I'm going to do as much protection as possible. Something needs to be changed, it's easy to change it. So I'll probably just do it out of a piece of plywood, and then I'll resin it and put a thing of fiberglass over the top. That way it's locked in. And we'll think about these. When I do the back part, I haven't even really thought about this part yet. How to finish all this out. I know this is going to be made into kind of a seat. It'd be a console, but it can be used as a seat if it has to be. But the rest of it, I haven't even really thought about it. So, not a big deal. If you like my videos, hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Thanks. I much appreciate it.